DreAllDay.com.
What's up, everybody? Dre Baldwin, Dre All Day. It's Friday afternoon, so we're here at Q&A. This is Q&A number 16. As usual, I have not looked at any of these questions. I'm going through all of these the first time through. If you ask something I've already asked, I'm going to say that. If I got somewhere to direct you, I'll let you know that. First of all, you see the hat, WOYG.net. That's where you can get that. Let's get right into the questions. Elias Money says, he asked me something about playing video games. Somebody's already asked me that, Elias. I do not play video games. Vuzo says, I'm from the UK. I need to work on my game, especially my jumper, but there's no court here, I guess he's supposed to say. He says they're always being used. Can I work on my J if I can't get a court? Well, Vuzo, the only way to have a J is to make shots into a basket. So if you don't have a basket to practice on, I don't see many ways you can work on a J. How did you get a J and have game or want to work on your game if you've never been to a court? So whatever court you learn basketball at, find a way to get there. There's no excuses. You want to play basketball, you need a court. Limno Demon says, I love your work. When you had tendonitis or recovering from other injuries, did you do any simple dribbling drills or shoot in the air to keep your game up while recovering? All right, first of all, to answer that question, when I had tendonitis, I'll do simple dribbling drills. When I had tendonitis, I only sat out for like 10 days, and that was in college. So I don't think I did any dribbling drills like that. It was only 10 days. Like 10 days not going to erase 10 years or whatever amount of time you've been playing basketball. And did I shoot in the air? No, I didn't shoot in the air. When I got back, I started shooting on the basket again. Not to say that you can't do any of that stuff, but again, you don't even need to ask that. If you want to do it, just do it. You don't need anybody to tell you. If I say no, I mean, are you just going to sit and do nothing even though you want to do something? That's not a question that you have to ask. If you want to do something, just do it. And he says, I'm an Irish baller. I want to go to a D2 college in America. And he tells me his measurables. And he said, I played 7 years at the position of center. Do I think someone with his skills can make the decisions on the court, the right decision on the court most of the time? Well, Lemon Demon, basically you telling me your size and what position you play doesn't give me any way of knowing what decisions you can make on the court. Only way you know if you can make decisions on the court is by playing in the game. So I can't project what you can do, only you can do that. If you don't know if you can do it, you got to ask somebody to confirm it for you, then you probably can't do it. You need to believe in yourself. You can't have somebody else tell you what they think you're capable of if you don't even know yourself. Next question, Tony says, my dad coached high school. My high school coach, not my dad, my high school coach doesn't like me because I'm 6'7", but I play in practice to play guard. He wants me to play center because I'm the tallest, but he said he will pin me to the post even though I have shooting and slashing capabilities. So I eject and play my game or do what he wants. So Tony, people have asked me a similar version of this question for years, and I've answered it many times, put out videos on it. So the quick answer, you can look up the video if you want a longer answer. If you're going to play on his team, do what he says to do. If you want to do your own thing, you're not going to play or you get kicked off the team. So if you really believe you should be playing a different position, then go play a different position. As far as it doesn't like me part, you know that's not true, obviously. If he wants you to play, if he didn't like you, he'd just kick you off the team from the beginning. If he didn't like you, you wouldn't be on the roster at all. So stop making excuses. Balling Like the Raptors says, Jerry, what was the last pro team you ever played for? And also the background music you played in your previous video, ball handling video, what was it called? Balling Like the Raptors, if you watch the full video, you'll see the information on who made that music. Also click in the video description to see that also. And you want to see all the teams I played for, go to my website, DreAllDay.com. Click on the link that says basketball and read everything that I wrote. Ray G's, he didn't have a question. Vector98 says, do you have exercises for getting straight back? I see you have a good posture. I don't know what you mean by straight back, Vector. I mean, if you're talking about you having issues with your back, a human being's back is not straight, actually. It's actually curved. So if you have problems with your back, I suggest maybe try doing some yoga or Pilates. That will probably help your back. But there are no certain exercises that's going to make your back straight. That doesn't make any sense. And every human's body is different. So me just naming exercises that work for me won't necessarily work for you because you're not me. Kelly Capo says, no questions. I just want to say thanks for everything you do. You're an inspiration. Shout out from Hawaii. Shout out to you, Kelly. I appreciate it. I like Hawaii. I've never actually been to Hawaii, so I like the thought of Hawaii. Let's put it that way. So I got to come out there. So thank you, Kelly. Ziggy1000 says, do I think Miami will three-peat? If I had to have a hope for the playoffs, if I had to pick a team I hope to see win, I want to see them three-peat. Because I think it's nice just to see a dynasty team like the Heat, who will be in the finals 4 years straight. That would be great. Do I think they will? I mean, I'm not really betting no money on either way, them getting it or not getting it. I'll be following though, of course. Scaroni 39 says, what's the best way to go over a pitch? Well, you just answered your own question. Go over it. Neville Eli says, if Carmelo Anthony and Kevin Durant played one-on-one, who I think will win it? Somebody asked me a bunch of those last week. I'm not getting into that shit. Marsh BTV says, hey, who was the guy from your previous videos who talked about ball handling? He talked about having a ball handling DVD. He was also a trainer. I don't know what video you're talking about. If there's somebody that was in my video talking about ball handling and saying he was a trainer, I don't know. Send me the link to the video and I'll tell you who it was. I got 3,000 videos here, so you can't just say who was the guy from the video. Hardful13 says, how many times have you got dunked on? Have I ever gotten dunked on? Of course I got dunked. I got dunked on before. I played a ton of basketball against a ton of very good players. So yes, I've been dunked on. I ain't never got no like poster dunk. Is there anything specific I could think of? Not really, but of course I have been dunked on. Whatever you would consider dunked on has happened, yes. STRD says, what do I think someone should do? What do I think I should do to get to the next level? D-League or even in the biggest European team? Well, STRD, whatever I'm going to do, that's what I'm going to do. It's not really what I think I should do, and whatever I do decide to do, I'm not going to announce it to anybody. Whatever I decide is what I'm going to do, and whatever anybody else decides to do with themselves is what they're going to do. Montavi Kid says, they're underdog team you'll like to win the NBA playoffs. No, I'm not really rooting for any team. I just follow the game. I like certain players. I like all the players anybody else likes. I'm just following the game and enjoying it as a fan of basketball in general. Roldo Foley says, what are some good books for basketball players to read? I mean, a basketball player can read any book. It don't have to necessarily be about basketball. It might be some other part of your mind that stimulates you to play better at basketball, but that depends on your brain and what kind of books you like. But if you're asking me for suggestions, you could go to my website, dreallday.com, click on the link that says books I read, and click and read through all the descriptions and the reviews on the books that I personally read. Because I read a lot of books, and I've written about every single one of them on my site, so go and read that. Richie McCarthy says, I'm pretty weak in terms of strength. I want to improve my strength so I can finish at the rim better. Do I have any recommendations on how to get stronger quickly? Well, Richie, you're not going to get strong quickly. If you want to get strong, it's a process you got to go through. If it was easy and quick, then everybody would be doing it. And of course, you've heard that before. You go to hoophandbook.com, check out the program called Position of Power. It's a 10-week strength training program written by my trainer, the person who puts me through workouts, Maria. You'll see her in my videos. And that's it. You asked for it, and I'll give it to you. Abraham Sikar says, do I try to emulate my game after any other player? Do I try to do well at everything? Incorporated basketball to the player I am today. Abraham, somebody just asked me that question last week. No, I don't try to play like anybody else. I play like myself. I might take pieces of people's games, but I don't try to play like anybody. Champs All Day says, is there a way to build confidence in scoring with contact? Champs, yes. The way to do that is to go out and play against players and score with contact. The way to build confidence in doing that is to do it. You can't practice scoring with contact by yourself. So you need to play against somebody, have them create contact, or you create the contact, have them foul you or whatever. You can even have a friend. Like you can just practice, drive to the hole, have them foul you, and score. You know, not somebody that's not really going to hit you, somebody that'll really knock you on your ass. Practice that way. You can build confidence that way and go play against people who will really do it, who don't care. And get better at it. That's the only way to do it. Nahi Rahman says, what's your favorite team? Who's my favorite player right now? Who's the best player I've ever played against? Naheed, I don't have a favorite team. Who is my favorite player? Michael Jordan. People have already asked me these questions. And who's the best player I ever played against ever? I say that day probably be Anthony Parker, who I played against. And I wrote about that on my website in detail. If you want to know more, go to my website, read the FAQ page. Andy Sketchtalk 23 said, I ever considered the Drew League or the Melo League to play at? Every summer people ask me these same questions about these leagues. Do y'all understand that the Drew League and the Melo League are recreational leagues that stretch several months? Like the league will start in like May and it goes to like August, which means if you don't live in that town, you can't just play in the league. It's not like you can fly in for a weekend and then play in the league and leave and then only play one game. The league is like a game, like a couple games every week for months. So if you don't live in LA for the Drew League or Baltimore for the Melo League, then how are you going to play in the league unless you're going to fly back and forth every week or you're going to move there for the weekend? And yeah, I know Kevin Durant might have played or LeBron might have played. Well, if any of you think I should play in those leagues and you're going to pay for my hotel and flight to go every week to the game and you're going to pay for me to live there for a few months, then I play in the league. Otherwise, please stop asking me that question. It doesn't make sense. I can't play there if I don't live in that city. Ahmed Masood says, some days I'm great on the court, next day I'm trash. How can I be more consistent? Work on your game. Jeezy Dog spins, how do you develop a scorer's mentality? Score. If you want to be a scorer, put the ball in the basket. LD Basketball says, thanks for everything you do. Thanks for helping me get better. You're welcome, LD. And he says, if I could play one-on-one against anyone, who would I choose? I play one-on-one against myself. I think that'd be a good video. Isaiah Kelly says, a recent documentary said that white players typically don't get drafted because they can't play defense. So that's my opinion on that. Well, Isaiah, I never heard of that documentary, and I don't agree with that, so I have no opinion on it. Well, that's my opinion right there. I don't agree. Cal A says, I should play one-on-one versus Fed. You kill, will you? Who the hell is Fed? I don't know what that means. Aaron Williams says, hey, Dre, I was searching your website. I got to signature workouts. He said, other than Blake Griffin, there were no big man workouts. Are you playing this? Because I think signature workouts like Dwight Howard, Al Jefferson, Anthony Davis, and Roy Hibbert would be cool. Well, Aaron, if you actually look on the site, before this week, there were actually two big guys. There was also Tim Duncan. You didn't notice that. Tim Duncan and Blake Griffin have been there for the longest time. There are also 3 new big man programs on the site in the forms of Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, and Kevin Love. So there are actually 5 big man programs on the Hoop Handbook website. So if you're looking at Dre All Day website, you saw what was there before. I didn't add those to the Dre All Day site. But if you go to Hoop Handbook, you'll see all the big man programs, and there's actually a big man package where you can get all 5 of those at the same time. As far as your suggestions, I like the Dwight, Al Jefferson, Anthony Davis are good. Roy Hibbert, I doubt there'd be a Roy Hibbert program because a lot of the Hoop Handbook signature workouts, of course, are more offensive skill based in general, and Roy Hibbert's not really that skilled offensively, so there's not much of a program I could put together for him. His value is in defense and being 7'2", 300 pounds, and there's no program that can teach that. At least not the size. And next question. Ulysses Gallardo says, what you show us is amazing. I commend you. Thank you, Ulysses. Tristan Stevens says, do I think LeBron James should leave the Heat when his contract is up? I don't really have an opinion on what LeBron James should do. We'll see what LeBron James does do, but let's enjoy the games now and worry about that when the time comes. Let's just enjoy the playoffs since it's the playoffs right now. Mela Jadon says, I couldn't find any other place to ask it, so I'll ask it here. I couldn't find anything on work on your game merchandise site, WOYG.net, about shipment. So I wanted to ask if I ship abroad, there's a list of countries I ship to, or is it just in the U.S.? Mela Jadon, at this day and age in the world, everyone ships everywhere. There are very few businesses who do not ship outside of their own country because they'd be losing a ton of money. Since we're all on the internet, I'm talking to people across the world, so of course I ship internationally. Whatever country you live in, you go to the site, you put something in the cart, and they'll ask you for your shipping information. You put it in there, and they will tell you. And we have fixed shipping costs. International shipping, I believe, is $10 per order. Domestic shipping is $5 per order, and that's flat. Doesn't matter where you live. So just go to the site and fill out your information. Joe Toldy said, I love your vids. They motivated me. I became significantly better player. So I'm glad to hear that, Joe. He says, what are the hoop handbooks, like books for your phone that tell you drills and how much you do them? Joe, if you go to the Hoop Handbook website and you click on any program you're interested in, you can read the program and it tells you exactly what it is. There's also a FAQ page that says questions, answers, which answer every question you could possibly have about the Hoop Handbook programs, how they work, what they consist of, and all that stuff. So go to the Hoop Handbook website and read the information. There's a lot of you can see who are watching this video. A lot of questions y'all ask me is people just don't read. Y'all have to go to these sites and read the stuff that I share with you. You can't just watch videos, you got to read. I type a lot of information out that I don't talk about on video, so if you read this stuff, a lot of these questions will already be answered. Martin Ivanov says, have I played against the top lottery pick from recent drafts? Yeah, I have played against a few, but I'm not really much into name dropping, so I ain't going to say their names, but yes, I have. The Mac Daddy says, do I recommend taking a day off, or is it easier one day when training the whole week to prevent injury and allow your body to recover? Well, the Mac Daddy, first of all, used the word easier. What's easy for one person is not necessarily easier for another person. What I say about days off is listen to your body. You have to listen to what your body's telling you. So one guy might be able to go 30 days straight, while another person might want 1 or 2 days off a week. You got to find out what works for you. There is no one way that is guaranteed to work, no one way that's guaranteed to get you injured. You got to listen to your body and see what happens. And of course, an injury is an accident. Nothing's going to make an injury happen, quote unquote. You got to do what works for you. Naya Bukasa says, when doing a move where you act as if you're going a certain direction but don't, such as the in and out, so you look in that direction, just look at the defender to see if they react to it. Naya, why don't you try both ways and see what works? It's not necessarily about it being done exactly a certain way. Everything has nuance. In each game situation, every player you face may have a different set of reactions. So just because you did it one way and it worked that way, or you saw somebody else do it a certain way, doesn't mean when you do it, it's going to work that way. So you have to find out what works, work on every way, play against people, and then you can try the exact thing you're asking me. Then you won't have to ask me, you'll know. Next question, Graham Hall says, the Cavaliers were a mess this year. If I was a GM of the Cavs, what would I do this offseason? Well, I'm not the GM of the Cavs. I don't really get into those questions like who would I get rid of, because there's a lot of salary caps and contracts and stuff like that. Well, we know you need to get some new players, so I think they probably get rid of the coach if they're going to keep Kyrie. I don't think they do too well together, and they got to get some new players, some different mix and match of guys, and see what happens is what they need to do. But we're in the playoffs now. Who wants to talk about the Cavs? Next question, Beckett Newton says, I'm 11. I practice 2 hours a day. I'm getting pretty good. I want to thank you for making all these vids. They're great and they teach me a lot. Well, Beckett, I'm glad to hear that. Keep working and you'll keep getting better. Bailey Holman says, should you dribble with your fingertips or your whole hand? Bailey, I just put out a video a couple weeks ago where I talked about that. There's no such thing as dribbling with your fingertips. If you go to a basketball court and actually dribble a ball only using your fingertips, it doesn't even feel natural. You won't even be able to control the ball. It makes no sense at all. That's a myth. And he says lots of people have different opinions. I want to ask you, since you have more knowledge and experience of the game than most people. Well, that's true, Billy, so thanks for asking. But if you were to go to a court and actually try the thing that you're asking me about, you would already have your answer. So go to the court, dribble, and you'll see for yourself. Raul Marmolejo says, does it affect you if you train on a 9.5-foot rim? Because where I'm from, they don't got regulation height. Well, Raul, if that's all you have, what does it matter? If I say it'll affect you and never do it, what are you going to do? Just quit basketball because that's the only court you have? So use what you have. So your question really is undefinable, because if you only have a 9.5-foot court, then you either have the option of practicing on that with what you got or do nothing. So which one are you going to pick? Darius Quinn says, for the signature drills and DVDs, do I study players' videos? I always wonder how you come up with the drills. I haven't had a chance to buy one of the DVDs. Of course, I watch basketball. I watch a ton of basketball. I got a lot of basketball experience. So yes, of course, I look at the players' games, and you'll see videos of those players within the program as part of the program, in addition to the drills that you're going to do. Ricky Gutierrez says, the Lakers and Clippers called you and they want you to be on their team. Which would you pick? I love your videos and keep them coming. I don't know which one I'll pick. I'll pick whichever one called me first, maybe. And thank you, Ricky. Next question. Momit Singh says, Dre, is there anywhere where we can see a sample was in the signature workouts, like a sample workout and something like that, and not just a description? If you want to see a sample workout was in the signature NBA signature workouts, you can probably just take a look at the way that I put together the YouTube videos, where I put together the drills. As far as a sample, no, it's not anything that's going to be a direct sample from the program for you. If you're not sure about buying it, you know what I would suggest to you? Honestly, keep your money, because I really don't need the headache. So if you want to get the program, get the program. If you don't get the program. I won't take it personally. You can just watch these videos, the 3,000 plus videos I put out here for free. Chant the First says, have you ever gotten crossed up and had someone break your ankles? If so, what happened? Of course, anybody who plays enough basketball will get crossed up, especially if you play in the playground on the street, which is where I came up playing. Is there any specific situation I'm going to describe? No, but yes, of course it's happened. Katie MVP Thunder 7 says, I'm in 6th grade. I want to play for 7th grade next year. I didn't make it last year. Is there some good new people coming to my school playing my position? Any tips on how to make it? Work on your game, get better, and when it comes to tryouts, go show your game. You got to ask me a more specific question if you want a more specific answer. Joey Colley says, do you want me to personally edit a pic of you hooping? It will look dope. Send me some pics to my Twitter sports fan swag. Joey, you can go to my website or anywhere else you find pictures of me. You can Google me, and you can grab pictures of me and do it yourself, and you can tweet them to me. But if I'm not going to tweet any pictures to you, but if you want to do it, go ahead and do it. Send them to me. The Annoying Agent says, any drills to help on my post defense, and what are they? Well, Annoying Agent depends on what you're trying to do in the post. There's a million different things you could do as far as defensively in the post. So you got to ask a more specific question than any drills to help my post defense. It's like somebody asked me any drills to help my offensive game. What specifically in offense are you talking about? And whatever your answer is, look it up on YouTube. I guarantee you already have videos about it posted. Dimitri Tukovic says, how does someone have an explosive first step? Is there a certain type of training or is it just natural? Explosive first step is basically speed, power, explosion, quickness, agility. Those are all things that are covered in the Ultimate Athlete 15-week program. Any of those other attributes I talked about, you can find them in videos about that. If you just search on my channel, those attributes that I just named, along with my name and the search up top, and you can look those up yourself. 2 more questions left. 1 more question. Lil Mo says, did ever walk on a JUCO school you went or were you recruited to that team? Lil Mo did not go to a JUCO school, never did. I went to a school that was 2 years for athletic, but it was not a JUCO. It was a 4-year academic school, but you only played ball for 2 years. But if you read my book, Buy a Game, at dreallday.com/buyagame, you'll have all the details to that. Again, another question where somebody has not read the information. Maybe you didn't know it, so now I told you, so now you have no excuse for not knowing it. That's it. Thank you, everybody, for coming through with the questions. Enjoy the NBA playoffs. I'll be putting out some game reviews, maybe some player skill breakdowns and stuff like that. Said work on your WOYG.net. You can get the hats. We got the shirts. We also got the wristbands. We got more merch coming in the future. Signature Workouts, hoophandbook.com. Got an announcement video coming on the 27th, which will be tomorrow, about the new programs and packages we got out. But if you go to the website, they're already on there, so you don't need to wait for the video to come out to see. I just already mentioned the 5 big man programs we got, and there's a bunch of other programs that are on the site that weren't on there before if you haven't checked it out. That's that. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.